Hello and welcome to the United Views Deadline Day special. I'm Ben from At the Res United. I am in Sunderland. I tried to decorate my mirror, but you can't really see it. We're celebrating a very, very special day today. It's only transfer deadline day. We have the gold overlays. We don't have the yellow ties. Actually, let's ask one guy who loves a yellow tie if he's got his on today. Sean, have you got yours?
No, I left it at home, unfortunately. I was going to wear a scarf instead, but I'm a bit too warm for that.
Oh, well, that's not the best, is it? But however, we have got Sean with us all show. Someone else who we have got with us all show today as well. He's just joined us. Ben, are you there, mate? Ben Fairthorne, are you with us?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
All good, mate. Thank you for coming on. You're our guy today who's keeping an eye on transfers from, well, around the globe and also in the Premier League. Let's start with you. Is there any movement at the moment in this last hour? Could anything be done over the last hour, United or not?
I would say certainly not United. It's not unusual for deals, not to be done before midnight, but to not even know about them or not have an inkling is almost unheard of. So as disappointing as it is, I don't think Manchester United are going to be signing anybody this window.
Oh, that's fair enough. What about in terms of outgoing? We hear Darren Fletcher's at West Brom.
Yeah, Fletcher's at West Brom. I mean, obviously the issue is twofold. Is that he's still on quite good wages at Manchester United, and that really I think was the main reason that the West Ham move broke down. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see something done there. I think it's clear that he's finished at Manchester United. He's had a horrendous time with injuries, so I would like to see him start playing regular football again because I think he deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ben, if you could do us a favour, keep an eye on Sky Sports, keep an eye on what's it called? Twitter. That's the one. The IndyCar accounts. If you keep an eye on us, let us know what's happening. We check in with you every 5 or 10 minutes, if that's okay.
Sure, no problem.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. We get the latest on all of the Premier League transfers from Ben throughout today's show. We're live until about 11 o'clock, and we're going to cover the whole of the last hour deadline day by talking about United's window and looking forward to the summer window as well. But first of all, let's welcome our first guest tonight, our first United fan who's coming on. We've got quite a few with us, so we're trying to involve everyone in our conversations. George, we'll come over to you and start with you, mate. How are you doing? Happy deadline day.
Cheers, mate. And yourself?
It's like Christmas, isn't it?
It is.
Where's my Christmas dinner? Mate, can't say what a day. It hasn't really been much going on. Some movement with United, some players outgoing. Same with this window as well. But overall, are you disappointed in this window, or is it just another typical January window for United?
Yeah, you know what? I am. I actually thought at the start of January, I'm probably not the only fan that thought this either, but I thought United would sign someone. Obviously there was a lot of talk of Dragovic sort of last week. Nothing's materialised since then. And obviously talk of Hummels coming in as well, and obviously nothing's happened. But I would have liked to seen De Gea signing a new deal throughout the January transfer window as well, to be honest with you.
So you are quite disappointed that we haven't signed anyone?
Yeah, I am very, actually, to be honest with you. I think Rojo's come along, that's so well recently. I think he could have done with someone sort of, apart from Johnny Evans, someone reliable. I think we could have bought someone in, and obviously the money side of things isn't an issue for us, which is good, and I think we could have bought someone in.
Yeah, well, that is true. Sean, would you echo that?
I said a couple of weeks ago on our transfer special that I'd be very surprised if anybody did actually come in. I'm disappointed that no one has, but I didn't think they would come in, if that makes any sense at all. We do need reinforcements, but I just couldn't see them. Historically, we have signed players in January, but historically we don't tend to sign that many, and certainly not players that are going to make an impact straight away. When you look when we bought in Evra, they were both January buys, and they were awful for the first month or so, if not a bit longer. I'm disappointed no one's come in, but I didn't think they would.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few names mentioned. Hummels expected more towards January, but as we've mentioned, actually, do you know what? We're involved. Pete Molyneux, the Trafalgar Fergie man, is with us. Pete, how are you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Ben, and you?
Yeah, really good. I'm loving the panel tonight. There's so many people next to you who we're not mentioning at the moment, but it's great to have everyone. And thank you all for your support. And quickly, I must say thank you as well for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. We're over the moon. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for joining us on Deadline Day 2. Pete, history does say United don't do business in January. Can you remember any signings from a January which really do pick on the brain?
Oh gosh. Well, we just mentioned Vidic and Evra, who came in 06, wasn't it? I think. Did he pick Sahar up in January?
I think it was more July, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Right.
In January, but sent him back on loan.
All right. Which is what they've done with a few players. To be honest, I tend to get more excited about the summer ones because I think it's a more open market then. And the old cliche that some of the best players are still involved in Europe is true, or they should be, you know. So I can't think of any in the January window that really set the world alight, other than Evra and Vidic that formed 2/5 of the defence that went on and won the European Cup within 2 years. But I think Van Gaal is usually a bit of a man of his word. He's a guy with integrity, as far as we can see so far. And he said he wouldn't sign anybody, and I don't think he will. But the main reason, I think, Ben, is because United have signed eight top-class players, and I'm including Fellaini in that, in the last 12 months. And you've bolt that onto the team that won the title 18 months ago. And I think Van Gaal's still fathoming out what's the best formation with these guys, not just at the back, but in general. And I think that'll take another 12 months. And I'm sorry that we're going to have to be that patient. But when Fergie did it and the Doc did it, it took 12, 18 months to get it flowing into a side that was doing something special. So I don't think just throwing more players at it will solve any problems. Sorry if I'm going against the tide there.
No, I think it's quite true. I think we do still need a couple of players, but I still think he also has a lot to do with this squad. Looking at the comment box, hello to Matt, hello to Mustafa, hello to Top Gamer as well, hello to Flim Flam, all commenting. Andrew's there as well, Andy there too. Guys, any memorable January signings for you? Vidic, Evra, we've already mentioned. Anybody else? Tweet us at the United View or subscribe and use the comment box. We'll come to you in just a moment. George, looking at this window, you said a bit of disappointment, but of course, history does back up, apart from really Vidic and Evra. We don't really do much business. Who was there for the taking with you? Is the biggest disappointment Cuadrado to Chelsea?
You know what? I think Cuadrado, he would have fitted into our team. I don't think he would have had to do too much to get into this team. It is disappointing he's joined Chelsea, obviously one of our rivals, obviously. But you know what? It's up to Van Gaal at the end of the day. If he doesn't, like the look of him, he's not gonna buy him. Obviously, as stupid as it sounds, but that's the reality, and he's not gonna buy someone he don't want, regardless of how long we've been linked with him. It don't really matter. So that is disappointing he's joined Chelsea. But I think there was a couple of other players that potentially, at the start of January, I think we could have got something done, and actually just got it done, and instead of having to wait until deadline day to see if things are still up in the air.
Yeah, and of course they were, weren't they? Because today, actually, Cuadrado tweeted. I was going to make a joke about it, but I'm not, because I don't find the Cuadrado situation funny. I believe, and I've said this before, I think he would have been the perfect player for us to sign. Would have given us so many options. He tweeted, "I've joined the best club in the world." So I was going to say he's signed for United, but he hasn't. He's signed for Chelsea, which is a bit gutting. But he would have been a perfect addition, wouldn't he, Sean? Cuadrado down our right flank.
Yeah, obviously we were looking at him for quite a while. Again, going back to the transfer special that I was on a couple of weeks ago with Tom, I sort of made the joke that are our scouts helping out the Chelsea scouts or what? They seem to pick up a few players that we're watching. We should have acted quicker, perhaps. Just going through, I did have a look earlier on at our January signings. I went back to January 2004. We've made 7 signings in January since then. 2 of those were in 2006, Vidic and Evra.
So in what, last 11 years?
In the last 11 years. I mean, that was just going off of a couple of websites. I can't obviously I can only assume that that is the correct information. But yeah, in 11 years we've signed 7 players. 2 of them were in 1 year, and one of those is also Saha that we sent back. So
it's frustrating, isn't it, really? We all look forward to a transfer window, but we never get anything on in January. It is just a bit frustrating. Have a look at your comments. Flim Flam does say Vidic top gamer. Berbatov, Mata, they're 2 players, yeah. Andrew McLeod is disappointed we didn't go for Pogba. Top Gamer says, why didn't we sign Cuadrado? He's 10 times better than Valencia. And for him, Laporte was there for the taking. We should have got at least him or Cuadrado this window. Steve, let's come over to you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Steve White's on the show. It's good to have you with us, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully no ranting tonight. We seem to only talk when there's something angry to talk about. Tonight we're celebrating another beautiful January transfer window. No need to rant, eh? But you've always said we need better centre-backs. Is that the major disappointment for you from this window? No centre-back?
To be honest, I was always confident that United weren't going to buy. I think Woodward said a couple of months ago that Em and Van Gaal obviously sat down and had a chat, and it wasn't in the club's interest to go out and sign any. They said they were going to, if they were available, they were going to go and get them, but they're always tough to go and get in January. I think they've put the feelers out around Europe and just to see if anyone will move, and everyone's just said we'll see in the summer. So I think that's all. To be honest, I think that's all United can do. To be honest. Obviously, there's been loads of names thrown at every transfer window for United. Going back on the January transfer one, I think the only half decent one I remember, I think Saha was January. Obviously, he had his injury problems, but he wasn't a bad player. Everett and Vidic are most successful, but United tend not to do any business, mate, to be honest. So, no, I'm not surprised, but it just sets up a big summer that we've got to have.
Yeah, and we have to have that summer, don't we? We have to have that big summer, and most people in the media are reporting that we will do. I mean, we've done our transfer special with Ben, and he predicts a big summer as well. Peter is someone else as well who predicts a big summer. Joshua Williams Spence says that Juan Mata was his January assignment, and he has proved to be a good addition. But then again, he was a proven good player for me, so maybe we should have spent that money. Ben Fairthorne, let's come back over to you, mate. You're our man on the ground, keeping his eyes out about what's happening across the UK. Any updates on Fletcher? Any updates on, is it Cahill looking for a Premier League return? Anything happening?
The big news at the moment is David Gold, who is of course the co-owner of West Ham, has just tweeted, "Don't go to bed yet." And you can't imagine for a second that a chairman of a football club would do that unless there was a big deal on the cards. And that big deal seems to be that Emmanuel Adebayor is currently at West Ham undergoing a medical.
Really?
That seems to be the news. Quite a lot of good journalists are reporting it. The Mirror are reporting it, the Mail are reporting it, the Independent are reporting it. So it seems to have some legs in it. Again, is a huge earner, has had a number of opportunities to leave Tottenham in the last year, and that you would imagine would be the only sticking point. I think it's fairly clear that his time is up at Tottenham, and he's had an awful season. But if you cast your mind back to the Emmanuel Adebayor of Arsenal, he was a good player. He was probably, again, a good player that Manchester City have ruined. And how many times have we said that over the last 3 or 4 years? Prime example of Scott Sinclair coming on yesterday at Villa. So I think it'll be a decent signing for them, but he has got a proven, slight attitude problem. But that seems to be the big deal on the cards at the moment.
I saw Sky Sports reporting the other day that PSG were interested in Emmanuel Adebayor. I take it that's a no-go now then.
To have a, you look at PSG. I know Ibrahimovic. I mean, obviously world class. Terrible attitude problem. Cavani, a good player, terrible attitude problem. To have 3 strikers of Adebayor, Ibrahimovic, and Cavani would just be you know, asking for trouble. They'd only be a Balotelli short of the 4.
That's brilliant. Well, Ben, we'll come with you to keep updated. And of course, if there's anything whilst we're talking, feel free to just butt in. We want to know the latest as soon as you get it, mate. Keep an eye out for us. Thank you very much. Pete, let's come over to you, mate. Obviously, we've been mentioning throughout the show, Darren Fletcher could leave the club today. He turned 31 yesterday. He's a United servant. He has been for many years. What's your feeling about Fletcher? Is it a case of saying thank you and goodbye, or should we be making more of an attempt to keep him?
No, I think it's exactly what you say there, Ben. It's thank you and goodbye, and the fact that they'll probably not ask a big fee, United. It means he can get his payday and get his reward. Because if he'd have stayed much longer, I think he would have got a testimonial or the equivalent of. So I think it's recognition and reward for a very good servant. He's been very good for United. Not always a top player, but a good player and a loyal servant. And I wish him well. And of course, he's come back from a very debilitated illness for a sports person. And you can't but admire and respect that. So if he stays in the Premier League, I think he'll be happy.
Yep. And of course, West Ham fell through, we believe. West Ham look like they're going for Adebayor now. West Brom could be the possible place to go. Let's bring Liam in on the show, our neutral. Liam, thank you for coming on tonight, mate.
Yeah, no worries, Ben. It's good to be on it.
As our neutral, Fletcher to West Brom, does it make sense?
Yeah, I think it's the right move for Fletcher. You know, obviously had the illness. He came back from that. He just didn't come back as the same player that he used to be. So yeah, I definitely think, you know, Darren Fletcher, it's a good move for him. You know, we've seen Vidic go and Ferdinand and Evra also move on, and you know, he's getting older now. So I think it's a great move for him, and I wish him all the best.
What about obviously Ben's just mentioned Adebayor to West Ham? Could that possibly make West Ham, well, European football contenders in terms of Europa League?
Yeah, I think with Adebayor, I think you either love him or hate him. I think that's the case at Spurs at the moment. You know, but yeah, I think West Ham, get him on board. I think that'd be a great signing. But yeah, we just have to wait and see on that one. I think, you know, potentially European football. I think they can get Europa League, Champions League, but I think it's a bit too far for them. But look, yeah, West Ham needs something like that. I mean, well, Andy Carroll and Adebayor up front, you know, there'll be a lot of balls put into the box. So yeah, I think it'd be a great signing for West Ham. Didn't see it coming myself, but yeah, I just checked Twitter and it looks like it could be happening. So
possibly. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll hear more from Ben soon and more from you as well, Liam. Thank you for coming on. George, we'll come back over to you, mate. Obviously, we spoke about Cuadrado, Fletcher obviously leaving. In terms for you, in terms of player going, there's a few young lads which have left this window. Michael Keane, Mark Vermael looks like it's confirmed he's gone to Sheffield Wednesday. What do you make of Louis van Gaal's approach of giving these players a chance, then actually moving them on?
You know what? I think with Louis van Gaal, I think we've seen him, in the under 21, in the crowd. He's always having a look at different players and whatnot to see who we've got. With the likes of sort of Vermael, Jesse Lingard, Nick Powell. Obviously, Anderson's just left. Zaha's just apparently gone. All these people that have been playing in the under 21s. I think it's difficult to call. We've got the likes of sort of Jesse Lingard in and around the first team. Unfortunately, got that injury, didn't he? But obviously, James Wilson's the only one that sort of maybe stood out. A great deal for Louis van Gaal, so we can actually sort of take his chance in the first team.
Yeah, of course. The big news one today, by the way, alongside Vermael, Sean, we'll come over to you, mate. Wilfried Zaha rejoining Palace. What do you make of that?
I'm a little bit disappointed. I would have liked to have seen him given a chance to have a run of games. But then again, he's another player that when he did get the opportunity, he didn't really show what he could do. I think it was a bit selfish of Fergie to buy him and then bugger off, to be quite honest. Fergie obviously had no time with him whatsoever because obviously sent him straight back out and then back to Palace. I know he had his loan spell at Cardiff last season, but they were a team fighting relegation. That isn't obviously the best sort of atmosphere, surroundings to be in. Gone back to Palace, sort of similar situation, but he did absolute wonders for Palace that season that we signed him, and it's probably the best move for him. Obviously, Palace have made a few quid out of that as well. So
yeah, and not just a few quid. Let's come over to you, Steve. They've made a lot. We bought him for 16 million, didn't we, Wilfred Zaha? £3 million is the rumoured transfer fee for him. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's more bad business from United, mate. It just seems to be in the past few years that's sort of gone around. To be honest, I said when Fergie signed Zaha, I thought it was a strange move. I remember he had a good game against us in the Carling Cup. I think Palace put us out that night. Ambrose scored one from about 60 yards. And there was all talk of Zaha's this, Zaha's that, and he was playing in the Championship, you know what I mean? And 120 games in a Championship, it wasn't like he was tearing it up, you know what I mean? And Fergie signed him for 15 million quid, thought it was a strange move. I actually agree with Sean a bit on that. I think Fergie's tried to sign him and do United a favour by saying, I've signed you a brilliant player. And 2 managers have come in and didn't fancy him. So there's something there, mate. And like you say, 12 million loss on a player in 2 years, and he's gone back to the same club. I mean, you can't say much more, can you, mate? It's just poor business. Poor business again.
It is a bit, isn't it? Let's welcome to the show the United man, Sati. Thank you for coming on, mate, and thank you for being patient. A tough 23 minutes there for you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on there.
Cheers for coming on. Thank you for spending your deadline day with us. Zaha, is he just someone who was never United quality? Or was he just someone who never had the chance to be United quality?
No, I think Zaha did have his chances. Under Moyes, it was probably limited because of the stories between him and Moyes' daughter. But under Louis van Gaal, he got his chance in the pre-season, and I think, you can say in a couple of cup games he played as well, he didn't look the piece, and there was obviously stories that he didn't come in training, he was never on time, he was late, his attitude weren't the best at United. So maybe, that could be a factor in why he's gone back to Crystal Palace. Hopefully, I think he will turn out to be, just an average Crystal Palace player. I don't think he'll turn into anything great. When we did sign him, I was excited, and I thought 15 mil was probably a bit too much for him. However, he didn't really prove himself, and that's why he's probably gone back to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, possibly dead on. I'm going to say hello to Assad and hello to Quita as well while we're here. Let's come over to you, Ben. Just want to quickly chat about a player who was left out of the under-21 squad tonight, who was set to play against Fulham, Jesse Lingard. There's rumours of a loan move to Derby. Could you keep your eye on that for us, or do you know anything about that, Ben?
Yeah, Derby are actually very busy at the moment. Obviously, there's the whole Tom Ince thing going on. And again, you talk about Zaha. Let's not forget, it was only 8 months ago that they were talking about Tom Ince signing for Inter Milan, and now he's playing Championship football. Granted, it's for a very good Championship side, but I think Lingard would make a great signing a great loan signing for everyone. It makes total sense. We've seen so often top players, from top clubs go and come back far better. So there's no real firm news at the moment, but I think it makes total sense for everybody involved.
Yeah, and also after that injury for Lingard, it'd be great for him to get games.
Exactly. I think over the last few years there have been a good few players that have not been great at top clubs. They've gone away. Jack Wilshere was one at Bolton. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago now? And came back a different player. I actually thought United could have done that with Zaha. Why not loan him to Palace for the rest of the season and see what happens? It didn't make a lot of sense to me, that. But in terms of Lingard, yeah, we'll keep you posted on that.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. And any more deals going on, make sure you let us know. Let's come over to you, George. Let's come back to you, mate. Just want to quickly ask you your views on Wilfred Zaha. I mean, you seem to give every player a chance. You never were quick to slash them, but he did only really play pre-season games, didn't he, for United? And even at times he looked special, he also looked very, very wasteful. But Christian makes a good point. He seemed to have the wrong attitude. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, 100%. I think I don't know. He's a football. He's a modern day footballer. He's got. He's far too young and he's got too much money. It really is as simple as that. And he hasn't been grounded with it. He's literally just been given so much money to do whatever he wants with. And I think it's gone to his head a little bit. Joining from Crystal Palace Championship side to a title-winning Man United team, it's going to go to his head a little bit. But he needs to stay grounded and he needed to take his chances. And arguably, he could have had more. But you know what? I didn't like his attitude, to be honest. And I don't think he was quite the right player for Man United. There's no denying that he's got an amazing amount of ability, but he's just not United quality. And I think he was a Premier League player, but he's just not Man United quality. But I think that's the reality of it, to be honest.
And he's still young. I mean, you don't know what can happen now, do you? He'll probably shine at Palace, but would he be good enough for any other club? Just don't know, do you? It's just trial and error. If I had little earpieces, I would do this, but Liam's here on neutral. Liam, could you do me a favour, please? A rumour which has just come up, and it's just come in right now, and it's going mental on Twitter. Manchester United is set to sign a 21-year-old defender, Andy Kellett, on loan from Bolton. I don't get this. I don't know if this is actually true. Can you see if you can find any information for me, please, Liam, about Andy Kellett from Bolton, 21 years old, and we'll come back to you in about 5 minutes. Is that all right?
Okay. Yeah, it's cool,
I don't know where that's come from. However, another rumour coming in about Jesse Lingard is the fact that apparently he has signed a new 3.5-year deal with United and agreed to go on loan to Derby. We'll get the latest from Ben in just a moment, whether that's true or not. Let's go over to you, Pete. You've seen many players leave United and come to United. Would you say that maybe the players who are leaving now, as in Fletcher, as in the Michael Keanes, as in the Vermaels, also, of course, we saw Danny Welbeck go. We don't know what Hernandez is going to do. We don't know what Nani's going to do. Would you still say that our squad right now is relatively ready? Also, the departure of Lingard and Fletcher. Do you think our squad is strong enough?
United squad?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah, bloody hell. Very much so. Gosh, the players we've got are superb. The new ones that have come in over the last 12 months, but also the guys that are there, like Rooney and Van Persie and De Gea. It's a team of superstars, but it just needs to gel together. And I know I said it before, I'll say it again, it does take time. Fergie brought all those players in the autumn of '89, and he nearly lost his job because it just took him 12 to 15 months to gel it all together. And when it did, it built something that was lasting. And I think that's what Van Gaal will do. But the United squad, I think, is as good as Chelsea's or City's. What we're just not doing is playing as a team. But we will. It'll come, I'm convinced.
Hopefully we'll get there, and yeah, I'm convinced as well. He's the right man, isn't he, Pete? Despite the criticism for clueless substitutions and some tactics here and there, Louis is the right man, isn't he?
Well, I think so. He knows the score. He's managed at the top level. He understands United. He's very much in charge. I don't think he's arrogant. I think he's confident. But I like the cut of his jib. He speaks honestly and openly. And he's a United man. He can handle things on a big stage. We're talking about Zaha, and I think one of the problems with Zaha was he struggled to play on that big stage. Some players can play at the London Palladium, but we need players that can play in Las Vegas, And Zaha was a Palladium guy. Van Gaal is a Las Vegas manager.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree. And that was a great way to sum it up. Andy saying that Jim White was just trolling. Kellett is going to Sheffield United. However, I have also just read a tweet from a very well-known journalist who's mentioned that Sadie Janko could join Bolton on loan before the end of this window. So whether it's some sort of loan swap, I don't know. Whether the Kellett thing is completely irrelevant, it does look like there's some interest in Sadie Janko. Again, we'll come back to that. Yeah.
Right, I've just found someone's just tweeted a picture of a Wikipedia page about Kellett. On February 2nd, 2015, Kellett was linked with a loan move to Manchester United, which sent United fans on Twitter into a frenzy. I think someone's trolling us here, Ben.
I don't know what's going on. I've just had loads of tweets sent to me about Kellett. I've seen a video of Jim White. And Ben, can you confirm any news about Jesse Lingard? It looks like something has or is happening here.
Yeah, Sky are reporting it now. At this stage, I think you've got to back Sky to get things right. They're reporting that while signing a 3.5-year deal, he is now going to go and spend the rest of the season on loan at Derby. So the club obviously value him as a player. They've given him a 3.5-year deal by the looks of things. And he's going to go and spend the last 5-6 months of the season at a very, very good Derby side. On paper, I think it should be a deal that works for everybody. It makes total sense. It's also just being reported by Phil McNulty, who's the head of football at the BBC, that Everton are minutes away from officially confirming Aaron Lennon. Don't think that was going to surprise anybody, really. He's been a real fringe player for Spurs this season, but yet Lennon about to be officially announced as an Everton player.
Wow, well that's moved a bit, because it was Stoke, wasn't it, who were interested?
I think that's just happened, actually. I just checked my Twitter. Lennon's gone to Everton on loan.
Okay, right, okay. So Lingard has happened, we believe. Lingard has signed a 3.5-year deal with United and has also gone to Derby.
Confirmation from the club yet, but Sky Sports are reporting it, which is, at this stage of the evening, probably as good as confirmed.
Yeah, as good as confirmed. Unlike Jim White's Benita story, which has never been confirmed, ever. One other thing I want to ask you, Ben, I don't know if this Andy Kellett stuff is any nonsense or whatever, but Sadie Janko, a possible loan move out, is that something to watch, or do you think that it could just literally be...
On Twitter, like someone just said, there is a bit about it on Twitter, but it seems to have come from nowhere, doesn't it? And I'm always slightly suspicious of deals that come from nowhere. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a terribly boring deadline day, not just for Manchester United fans, but for football in general. So, are people clutching at straws? I can't think of a worse deadline day in the last 10 years. So, yeah, possibly there's something in it, but it just seems to have sprung from nowhere for me.
Yeah, well... It is 100% confirmed that Wilfried Zaha has joined Crystal Palace on a 5.5-year deal. It is now confirmed, Ben, as you spoke about, 5 minutes ago, just a minute ago, that Tottenham have confirmed that Lennon has joined Everton on loan till the end of the season, and we're still waiting for confirmation about Adebayor. Salah is a Fiorentina player. Cuadrado is a Chelsea player. And Dele Alli, the MK Dons midfielder, is having a medical at Tottenham at this moment in time, apparently. So that's what's going on. It does look like Lingard has joined Derby. So, Sean, let's talk about that for a moment, because in one way it's a celebration he's signed a new contract. What do you make of that, first of all? He's committed his long-term future to United.
I really like Lingard as a player, and I think, yes, a loan move is probably the best thing for him at the moment. I love the fact that he signed a long-term deal. There's several players. James Wilson's another one. I believe he's now signed a new deal. And Paddy McNair, I believe I read earlier on, has signed a 4.5-year deal as well. I've only got this off of Twitter, so there's a lot of rubbish on Twitter. Can only take it as face value until it's confirmed by the clubs. I have got a Sky Sports News on. I am keeping a little eye on it. There isn't. Well, they just keep saying the same stuff over and over. This is, I think, like Ben just said, this is actually one of the worst transfer windows I've ever known. And something I was thinking about earlier on. Do you think FFP might have a bearing on it? Because obviously clubs can't spend as much now. You look at Chelsea, to get Cuadrado in, they had to get 2 players out.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be down to the financial fair play, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because there does need to be restrictions on clubs and what they can spend. But sort of going back over previous January windows, not talking United, but in general, the total amount spent at the moment is 106 million. But I can remember it being at around 300, 400, 500 million in a January.
Yeah. I mean, let's come over to you, Liam, as a neutral. You said that you find the quality of English football in general a bit shocking at the moment. I mean,
Yeah.
and England, the England team, a bit shocking. Do you think that's kind of reflecting now with the windows we're having?
Yeah, I just don't see any really homegrown talent anymore, and I just think it's all just big money deals, getting big players in, and since Greg Dyke has become FA chairman, I'm just not seeing anything being impacted that into the Premier League or any homegrown or just any English football players. There was a few stats. I saw last year, and the difference between foreign players and English players was just ridiculous. One of the best league in the world, and we're not seeing born English players in the league, and it's just really frustrating. So yeah, I definitely do think it has a massive impact on deals being done.
Yeah, and to be honest, it is more foreign players coming to the Premier League or going to different teams, isn't it? Let's face it. Let's come over to you, Sassy, quickly. What's your reaction to Jesse Lingard going outline? Is he someone you do see a lot of promise in?
Yeah, I like the look of Lingard. I think he's one of them players that you just don't want to see go, and I think he is quality, and I genuinely believe that he can go into one of them first team players, and for Manchester United in a central attacking role, hopefully does get a chance sooner rather than later, and he doesn't do another Paul Pogba runners. And I think Lingard has got a lot of potential, but he just has to be playing not just in cup games but also in the league and getting his experience along with players like Paddy McNair, players like that really need to shine. Also, just touching on that Gellert thing, I think that is maybe just a bit of a lie there, because I've seen rumours on Twitter saying that he isn't going to join. I think he's going somewhere else. I think Jim White was just trying to get a bit more fame on Sky Sports, I think.
Possibly. He needs some more fame, doesn't he? Let's come over to you, Steve. I mean, the news obviously that Zaha's left in this window, and also on top of that, Lingard's now going on loan. Steve, if you had to pick between the two, who's got the more quality? They're around the same age. Is Lingard about 22 now? I'm sure he is. I mean, who would you have in your squad? Zaha, Lingard? He's thinking. Is that a hard one?
No, I've seen Lingard play a few times, mate, and like you say, he's a really good player. I think he got injured on the opening day, if I remember rightly. Van Gaal started him on early doors in the season, got his injury, so he must fancy him. And Zaha, like I said, I thought it was a strange move anyway, mate. So yeah, I think Lingard deserves his spot at United. Good that he signed a contract and hopefully stay clear of injuries and kick on, because that's a big part of what this United side in the next 2 or 3 years have got to do. They've got to stay fit. If they can't stay fit, you've got to show them the door. It's just as simple as that, mate.
Yeah, no, spot on. Pete, let's come to you as a United fan in your time. Many years you have supported the club, you've been to games. One of the best players I know you've ever seen play is Anderson. I know every week you bought your ticket just to watch Anderson. The sad news today that he's left the club. He's going to Brazil. Official confirmation near enough is out there. All United players have said their goodbyes and put their goodbyes up. Without crying, what's your views on Anderson leaving the club today?
There was a guy called Willie Anderson in 1964. He was very good. Well, I don't like to slag United players off, but Anderson has been just a big disappointment at Old Trafford after a lot of hoo-ha, and probably a very good first 6 to 12 months. The Stretford end were singing about him before he'd even got half a dozen games under his belt. And when he's been tried in the League Cup matches and some of the Champions League dead rubbers, he's not turned it on. He never grabbed his opportunity. Again, I wish him well, but I was going to say it's time for him to go, but it's probably 3 years overdue that he should have left. It's been costing United a lot. So good luck to him, but he never really shone. He did score a penalty though in Moscow, didn't he?
Oh, he did do something at some time, didn't he? At one point.
Probably.
Penalty in the Champions League.
Sorry?
Penalty in the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah, in the final. So that was his David May moment, in '99 when. But good luck to him. But it is time now to clear out some of the guys that Van Gaal will have looked at this season and given a chance and realised that they're not going to make it, or it doesn't fit in with his idea of a United player. I know there's quite a few of those guys now that were in the lineup at MK Dons back in August. I think there's all but one that have gone now. I'm not saying that alone was their undoing, but he's obviously given them a chance, and he's starting to make up his mind. And I think that'll continue over the next 5 months.
Well, I've got to say, Pete, it's like you just read my mind. Look what I got here. It's a list of the players who started against MK Dons and the players who have gone. I was just about to welcome to the show John Shin. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Thanks for having me, Ben. Yeah, thank you, everybody.
No problem at all. Great to have you on. I was going to come to you with our first question, really, and that's a look at the team which did play against MK Dons and the player who have gone. De Gea's in goal. Michael Keane played. He's gone. Vermael played. He's gone. Anderson played. He's gone. Hernandez played. He's gone. Kagawa was played. He's gone. Welbeck played. He's gone. And on the bench, Amos Zaha, both have gone. Any of them a surprise for you?
No, to be honest with you, no, not really. And I think that's just a start to obviously everybody knows this is a transitional period under Louis van Gaal, and this is something that, we're expecting. We were expecting a mass clear out, and we were expecting some sort of transition, and it's only the beginning. And to be honest with you, this transfer window, honestly, nobody was really expecting much of, any movement, to be quite frank with you. And as frustrating as it is for United fans, and throughout history, it's been a case where we really haven't signed much players, bar Mata, Berbatov, Vidic, Evra, and all those characters. But besides them, we haven't really been signing much in January. And as I've heard many of you here, speaking about how this summer is going to be a very robust, very exciting, busy transfer period. As much as that is, expected, and we're really looking forward to it, it's up to the players now to make a difference and to make sure that, all the players out there who are potential candidates for us to sign, we give them a message saying that, there is a clear project here, there is a clear, sense of winning mentality, and this Louis van Gaal philosophy works. So it's up to the players left now to actually, get something out there and let these players know all over the world that, we're still up there with the best. Will always be.
And to prove themselves. They've got to start proving themselves, or they could go the same way as them players. Thank you, John. Let's come over to you, mate. What's going on? Ben Fairforn's with us, giving us the latest on the Premier League moves and keeping an eye on the Darren Fletcher deal as well. Any movement, Ben, over the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, a couple of things breaking. Fletcher is supposed to be having a medical now at West Brom. It's confirmed that his agent's there. You would imagine that would go through fairly smoothly. They're never as strict with medicals when it's a loan signing, obviously, because the risk is far, far less. So, yeah, that is one. And secondly, the Adebayor West Ham move seems to have broken down. And the reason for that seems to be, first of all, they thought it was wages, but now a few of the major journalists are reporting that Levy wanted to block the move, has blocked the move, because he saw West Ham as a threat to the league position. So it looks to be at this moment in time, Adebayor West Ham is off, and this could just be a case of putting two and two together. But a few journalists are now reporting that opens the door for QPR. I think Adebayor would be a typical Harry Redknapp signing. When you're, haven't got an away point all season, you're looking for some real scrappers, people to give 110%. Who'd you go and sign? Emmanuel Adebayor. Absolutely absurd. Harry Redknapp is made some really strange signings for QPR. Adebayor has certainly got talent, but would you want him in a relegation battle? Absolutely not. You take someone with far, far, far less quality, who's going to at least give it their all. So yeah, Fletcher looks to be going through. Him and his agent at West Brom, and West Ham Adebayor looks to be off. That's about it for now.
Well, thank you for keeping us dated, Ben. And for anyone who's missing Harry Redknapp in a car window, there he is. There we go. Speaking to someone who actually cares outside QPR's training ground. We'll keep you updated on all the latest as it comes. Right, let's come over to you, Steve. I mean, lots of ins and outs, but is there one player who you're disappointed United did not sign this window despite the rumours, or do you tend to just keep away from the rumours, full stop? Oh, Steve, you there? I think we might have our first technical difficulty of the night, everyone. Unless it's me who's having a technical difficulty. Steve, are you with us? I don't think he is. Sean, you're with us, aren't you?
I'm with you.
You're with me. That's all right. Is there one player you are disappointed United haven't signed?
I would have liked to have seen a central defender. I'm not sure who. I would have just liked someone to have come in and maybe kick to the three at the backside, not obviously including Rojo in that. Something following on from our show last night where we were talking about the three amigos that keep getting injured. They're all out of contract at the end of next season. All three of them are out of contract. So, you know, we might, you know, with that in mind, I did wonder whether we might sign someone today. So obviously, beginning of next season, when most of us are imagining they may well be offloaded anyway, at least it would have been a, even though it's only for a few months, a partnership that they would have created with Rojo. I'm not necessarily saying that all three of them will be offloaded. I think 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
With Jones being the most likely to be renewed. But I can't see the club, but then saying that again, what Steve said earlier on about, you know, we seem so bad at business when it comes to selling players that I can't honestly see that the club will want to take a loss. I think what was it, about 10 million we spent on Smalling, or I can't remember Evans or what happened when he came in, and Jones was a fair amount of money as well.
Yeah,
I can't imagine the club want to take a hit on any of them.
He was a lot of money, a lot of money. Evans, I don't think will be at the club for long. It's just one of those, isn't it? Sati, let's come over to you. A question Josh has sent us in, the United man. Should Januzaj have been loaned out this window? What are your thoughts?
I think Januzaj should have stayed. I think Van Gaal's made the right decision in keeping him because Januzaj is probably one of our best young talents that we've got. We've got many, but Januzaj is probably one of the standouts. Considering last season's performances, he's really improved, and I think under the circumstances that he hasn't had much game time, you know, he's had a couple of games there and then, but he has started last couple of games, about 3 games in a row. He started against Leicester and that. He hasn't looked as good as last season, but he's looked a lot better than at the start of the season. I think the problem with Januzaj, he needs to start taking more risks. And the reason for being that is because when he goes at players, he doesn't take them on. He'll either do a couple of step overs and then pass it, or he'll get a shot away. That's the problem Januzaj has. But I'm actually glad Januzaj has stayed because against Cambridge, I know it's only Cambridge, but that's probably the game he'll start. And I think teams like that, you know, like low opposition in the half, will probably have to play Januzaj. Herrera should be playing. Then they'll get game time, and I think Januzaj is one of them talents that we have to keep hold of.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the rest of the panel, let's come to you. I'll mention you one by one. Yes or no, should Januzaj have been loaned out this window? George, what do you reckon? Januzaj?
If you asked me this question a couple of weeks ago, I would have said yeah, but his last 2 recent performances, nah, I reckon he should stay.
Right, so you feel he's proved a point from his last couple of games?
Exactly.
Right, John, Shim, what do you reckon?
I was definitely on the same boat. I thought, you know, he should have, you know, been loaned out maybe 2 weeks ago, but in my opinion, you know, he really needs to step up. You know, it's good. I definitely think that he should stay, but the fact that, you know, not like the last game when he was playing against Leicester City, I felt like he lacked a sense of urgency where, you know, he'd take defenders on and he'd do his usual trade, but at the same time, I felt like he wasn't really stepping up, as in where you can see the, you know, the contrasting players such as, you know, James Wilson. He's running all over the place, you know. As much as, you know, he might not have a big impact in terms of, you know, one-on-one situations, he's running, he's moving, he's being enthusiastic. Januzaj just kind of slightly missed it for me, and I feel like if he does stay, and I think he should, he really needs to wake up, and he really needs to know that he's surrounded by world-class players under a world-class manager. He needs to step up and show that, you know, he deserves to stay, definitely.
Okay. Pete, should Januzaj be loaned out or have been loaned out?
No, I'd have stuck with him now because what Van Gaal's got now is the benefit of being able to play these guys in cup games. Obviously, Champions League games were missing at the start of the season. We didn't have a League Cup run. So because the league games are so important, it's because we want to get in the top 3, ideally. It's hard for him to experiment, although he's had to experiment in many ways. But I think Januzaj now will play in some of these cup games, hopefully if we have a bit of a cup run. And let's see what he can do. I agree with what the other guys have said. It looks almost a slow motion version of what he did last season. And the vitality that Wilson had on Saturday and Di Maria around him, it made him look as if he was standing still. Now, whether that's part of the tactics that Van Gaal's employing with him, but there's not that zest that there should be with a winger. So keep him, let's see how it goes, and take a view at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely worth. And then if it's not worked towards the end of the season, a loan move maybe for the rest for next season. Steve, let's come over to you, mate, if you're back with us. What do you reckon on Januzaj?
Yeah, I think he should have gone out on loan, mate. I thought I was there Saturday and I thought he was bordering on garbage, to be honest, mate. When you're struggling to take your man on and you're being played out wide, he was against Danny Simpson. Do you know what I mean? This wasn't Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Chelsea. It was against Leicester. No, I get the kid's 20 in a couple of weeks, and some of our fans on Twitter think he's somewhat a genius, but he needs confidence, mate, and he needs games, and I just can't see going to get enough between now and the end of the season. Some of our fans want him behind the striker, mate. He's got no chance. I really think he should have gone out on loan. But if Van Gaal's going to play him in a cup and we're confident he's going to get a cup run, then he's got a chance to get a little bit more against Cambridge tomorrow. But nah, mate, I thought he was bordering on poor on Saturday.
Well, Liam, we'll come over to you as our neutral. I mean, from what John said, what Steve said, it does sound, and to be honest, even watching him, it does seem like he needs some confidence, and he might even need a run of games to prove himself. As Pete says, he does need that run of games, and whether he gets it now or not, we just don't know. What do you think would have been the sensible move for Januzaj? As a neutral, what would you like to have seen Januzaj do?
Well, I agree with Steve. I think he really needs to go out on loan. Just playing the old cup game, coming on as the sub. I just feel like he needs to go to another Premier League club. He needs to get played. He needs to get the experience and confidence. The only problem is if injuries do occur, he's not a bad player to bring on. But I just still think experience is really crucially needed if he's going to develop into a big player. I just don't think he can do that at Man U. I think in time to come, I think he will be a really good player. I just don't think staying at Man U, I don't think it's a good idea for this season. He should have gone out on loan to definitely another Premier League club.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see him as well with an Everton, maybe even a Newcastle. But you know what? For now, he's a great talent, and I do want to see more of him. So hopefully we will do. Let's come over to you, Ben. 6 minutes left of the transfer window. How's it looking at the moment? You getting any last-minute excitement, Ben?
No, afraid not. This is as dull as I think we all anticipated. A few journalists reporting Tottenham do want Adebayor gone. QPR would be their preferred destination, but there's just not going to be time to get the deal done. From what's being reported, it was Spurs who called off the Adebayor deal with West Ham. West Ham wanted to take him, were prepared to pay the wages, but obviously West Ham having a decent season there. They're close to Spurs in the league, and Levy didn't want to take the risk. They wanted QPR, but unfortunately it looks as though QPR have left it too late in the day. So it does look like Adebayor will be staying with Tottenham to at least the summer, when then I'm sure he will be gone.
And anything else on Fletcher yet?
No, but again, everyone is reporting, and Sky reporting that the agent has been spotted outside the Hawthorns. It seems pretty common knowledge that he's having his medical. So unless they find something untoward, I'd imagine that would probably be announced in the next 30 to 60 minutes.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll wait and see what's going on with Darren Fletcher and the rest of the moves as well. Sadie Janko possibly on loan to Bolton. Keep you updated on that as well. Lingard looks like he has signed a new 3.5-year deal with United, and he will go on loan with Derby until the end of the season. Zaha is now a Palace player. Anderson is off to Brazil, and Vermael has joined Sheffield Wednesday. It really is a window of outgoings for United. George, let's come over to you. We have done some business in this window with 4 minutes to go. Victor Valdez is a Manchester United player. What did you make of that when you heard the news?
You know what? He's a good keeper, but obviously at his age, and there was a lot of rumours at the time that Valdez was going to replace De Gea and all this nonsense. I can't see that one happening, to be honest. One thing I want to happen is, I think Guillaume Balaguer summed it up perfectly the other day on Revista de la Liga. He said, De Gea will sign a new contract at United, but it might not keep him here. And unfortunately, that's the reality of Real Madrid when they do business. That they always get what they want, and that's what that's what fears me the most, to be honest.
Yeah, but he is a sign, isn't he, Valdez? And of course, obviously, De Gea, it's a big shame that we haven't had his contract this month, which is still a bit in the air. Do you know what, Sati? Valdez is a world-class goalkeeper. He's going to make a great number 2. But are you surprised that Lingard hasn't gone in this window? Anders Lingard?
I was expecting him to go to like a club like Hull, maybe Leicester, a club that's fighting for relegation in a sense, but he hasn't gone, and it's kind of worrying because maybe that is like some kind of, I know it's a bit jumpy to go for this conclusion. Maybe it's kind of sign that Valdez will come first team with Lingard as backup and De Gea going to Real Madrid. Maybe that is a possibility, but I don't think that will happen for United. If Dave does go, I expect us to go and get a top first team keeper. But Lingard, I think for his faith and for his first team choices and his future, he should leave, because with the likes of Ben Amos already gone on loan, I think he needs to do the same and just go, because at United he won't get played with Valdez and Dave as goalkeepers, and I think Louis van Gaal doesn't really fancy Anders Lingard, especially when we've been playing in FA Cup and League Cup. He hasn't been playing, so maybe it's time for him to go.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, with Valdez, you don't expect to see Lingard at all, do you? Let's come over to you, Pete. Is De Gea and Valdez the best United 1-2 in terms of keepers that you've ever seen?
Oh gosh, 1 and 2, blimey. Yes, I'd say so. Yeah, we've had some. Well, I mean, for a long time, really, between Schmeichel and Van der Sar, we struggled to having a first-class goalie. So yeah, best 1 and 2, and I think even going back into the 80s and the 90s, we always only ever had one good top goalie. Personally, I think De Gea will stay, and I think he'll go to Madrid later in his career. I think he'll stay because he sees something good being built at Old Trafford. And I think Valdez was just a common sense move to give United some backup, hopefully for Champions League games next season.
Yeah, and hopefully that Champions League spot will be ours. Ben, the transfer window has now closed. That's the end of our January deadline day, but not the end of the special. No, we're still going to carry on for another 10 minutes or so discussing United. But Ben, in terms of moves at the moment, in the last minute, of course, if Fletcher does get announced, it'd be within the next hour, wouldn't it? But are you fully confident that's going to happen to West Brom?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, it seems to be reported by all the right people. When that many journalists jump on a story, it usually has legs. Like I said, I think the only thing that would stop it is something coming up in the medical. But you'd only be talking about a 6-month loan deal, so the medical wouldn't necessarily be that stringent anyway. But yeah, I'm sure that's going to be announced soon. ITV have just reported that Adebayor QPR might not be as dead as everyone else is saying. I would still be amazed, because obviously it means that the deal would need to have been signed by now, and it would just be a matter of getting paperwork through in time. But maybe, just maybe, Adebayor QPR is not quite dead, so just worth keeping an eye on it.
Some more last-minute news. Literally just in 30 seconds ago, it's been confirmed from Southampton that Ryan Bertrand has made his move from Chelsea permanent. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's just been reported. I'm looking at the Twitter feed as well. I think ESPN have just reported that. I think solid signing. I think it was a terrible tackle on Sunday against Swansea. But that aside, I think he's had an excellent season. And so I think with all due respect to Southampton, I think if he has a good year or two at Southampton, we could see him back in a proper top 4 Champions League club again. I think he's excellent.
Yeah, there's definitely ability there, and good left backs don't come along very often, do they? More news: Crystal Palace have completed the signing of Lee Chung-Young from Bolton. Barry Bannan has gone to Bolton on loan as part of the deal, as confirmed earlier on. Levy says that Adebayor's deal has broken down with West Ham, and Dame Ndoye looks like he has joined Hull City as well, according to reports. I don't know much about him or that one, but that looks like it's happening, right?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen that one, but I mean, Hull, they're playing terribly at the moment. It makes sense for them to inject some fresh blood. I personally think they're going to go down. I think they're really, really, really bad this season. I like Steve Bruce as a manager, but I just think he's starting to run out of ideas, and it's a very, very poor squad.
Okay, fair enough. And it has just been officially confirmed for Manchester United that Jesse Lingard has joined Derby on loan till the end of the season. A great move, that. A brilliant move, that. Liam, let's come to you, mate. What do you reckon? What do you think about this transfer window then? We've had a little bit of excitement then. We said all the 3 deals in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What about the moves though? Bertrand permanent, Lingard Derby, Fletcher looks like he's joining West Brom. On top of that, Lee Chung-Young, I can't even say it. Lee Chung-Young has joined Palace, and what do you make of it?
I think it's kind of what I expected. I think in all the times I've watched the January transfer window, this has probably been the most boring one. But I think the signings that have been done, I think there are little gaps that need to be filled in for a lot of clubs. I think Man U just obviously I still think they should have gone for at least one defender. Even if it wasn't the best, someone decent with a bit of experience, I still think they would have needed that, because I'm still confident they'll get top 4, but I think just I would have been a lot more confident if they did have that extra defender. But overall, I think the transfers with Darren Fletcher obviously going, I think that's good for him. And the rest, like Ryan Bertrand, has just happened. I think that's a great signing for Southampton. So overall, I think it's just filling in the gaps for most teams. I think I said it sum up really.
Yeah, it is, and also like easier to Southampton. Again, it's like filling a gap, isn't it? It does feel like a lot of that happening. Steve, you reminded me, we haven't mentioned Sadiq El Fattori, the youngster from Salford City, recommended, of course, from 2 United legends. Do you know anything about him? Well, he's a young lad. Apparently set a training game on light with his skill and pace. He's a right back.
Yeah, that's why I brought him up, mate. Like I say, I don't think anyone knows anything, do they? Like I say, we read up that he was at the game. The guys at Salford bought him in. He had a good game and recommended him to United. Other than that, I think he was at City's academy when he was a kid. But it's one of them. I think it can either be a success and it'll be written into a movie, or he'll be the next Ali Dyer from Southampton in the 90s. But I don't know. Let's give the boy a chance first, I suppose.
And he must look good, because Vermael is the consistent right back for United under 21s when he's not been at the club. And now we've let Vermael go, it must mean he's going to be getting some games, which, well, you never know. He must be good.
Well, he could do, mate. I mean, Scholes, Butty, Neville. I mean, Neville was tweeting about him the other day, and I mean, these are United legends. You know what I mean? These know players. Scholes, he knows players. So you'd imagine it'd be one of them where he's just rang up Giggsy and said, "I've just seen a player, mate. Have a look at him." But I mean, you can't for the lad, you can't get a better, more of a fairy tale story, really, can you? Out the game a month ago, played one game for Salford, and now he's signed for Man United, recommended from Scholes. So, I mean, yeah, looking forward to seeing how that pans out.
Let's hope it works.
Just talking to Giggsy, didn't Giggsy play for City at some point in the past and then come over to United?
You are not comparing him to Giggs already, are you, Sean? That wasn't a clanger you just put in there.
Not, but, you brought Giggsy into the equation, and he started off at City, came over to United, and he's now a legend. Who would have thought?
Fergie poached him at like 15, though, didn't he? Fergie poached him when he was about 15.
Yeah, but who would have thought all those years ago? That's what 25 years ago. That Giggs would be where he is now and who he is and the legend that he is. Let's hope that in 5 years' time we're talking about this new player in the same sort of way that we talk about Giggs. Oh, of course, he could just be a complete and utter flop, and we don't talk about him at all.
Yeah, that is true, but I think also
mate, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the age difference is also a massive thing, though. But you never know; anything can happen. Let's welcome our final guest to the show. Shall we? We're trying to get through everyone. Sorry, guys, not everyone's been able to have a massive word tonight. But welcome to our transfer roundup, lady Hayley. Thank you for coming on. Oh, I can't hear you, Hayley. I've got no sound from you. Technical difficulties. We're having loads of them tonight, aren't we? Well, we've had two. You there, Hayley? No, her lips are moving, but we're not getting a voice. Sean, if Hayley can pretend to talk and you put on some sort of voice, could we make this happen? could it work?
Viewers can't see what we can, and Hayley's looking extremely worried and sort of really confused. There's this panic across her face.
Yeah, this is what I imagine Colton Cole is looking like right now, Ben Fairford, because it does look like his deal to West Bromwich Albion is falling through, is it not?
Yeah, I think they were happy to let Carlton Cole go when it looked like Adebor was coming, but obviously now they want to keep him. I don't really see why anyone would want to keep Carlton Cole. I think the bloke's nicked to live in for 10 years. He's no more than a championship striker. He never will be. And how he's played so many games in the Premiership, I'll never know. Goal scoring records are close.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree. And, well, we do have to see what happens, don't we? I mean, we can never know what happens between now and the end of the season. Hayley, the end of the window. Hayley, are you there? Are you with us? No, we've still not got nothing from Hayley. Hopefully we'll sort out and we'll get back to her in just a moment. John, let's come over to you. We've sent a few players on loan this window. Ben Pearson, Will Keane, Sam Johnston, Jesse Lingard, Sadie Janko looks like he's going to Bolton. We'll get later on that in a minute. Great opportunity for the young lads, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I feel like in a very long time we have a good crop of youngsters, and we've these players look a lot more promising than ever. So this is a great chance for them to go out there, actually get some game time, get some experience, and come back and share what they've learned and experienced. And especially in particular, I feel very happy for Jesse Lingard, because I feel like through the injury and whatnot, he really hasn't been able to get some game time out there. And now this will be a perfect opportunity for him to get out there, get himself exposed and return. And definitely.
Yeah, no, I've got to agree. And George, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sadie Janko can do at first team level.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And I watched him when he was at the under-21 game against Tottenham over at Stevenage. And you know what? He was brilliant. He's strong, he's quick. He's absolutely, he's lethal going forward. Not the best at defending, but you know what? That will come with age and that. And you know what? I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing what where he gets up to in the future United team.
Yeah, and who knows what can happen by the end of the season. If he's good enough, we might not even need to go and look for a left winger or a right back. Hey, what about that? And with AlphaTauri in there, anything can happen. Just looking through some of the tweets, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Just let me know on the panel. Can you see them tweets? Is it the wrong way around? Can you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I haven't just put a picture up on Twitter. That's not a reaction from everyone looking at my face. That's the reaction from Derby City fans. from the announcement of Jesse Lingard signing on loan. I mean, what a reaction that is. Amazing. But, you know, it is a good move. It's a great move for everyone. Sassy, let's come over to you at the United Man. We've asked everyone this question, but I don't think I've asked it to you. It's the end of the window. I feel a bit disappointed, but then again, it's not surprising me. However, lots of Twitter rumours. Is there one player that you are disappointed we haven't gone for this window?
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot I'm disappointed we didn't go for, but the one standout is Cuadrado from Chelsea. I think, you know, if we signed him, we would have been a lot stronger in the width areas, and I think he can also play wing back. I heard on Twitter that he can play wing back, so he's sort of Louis van Gaal. He can play on the right wing, left wing.
Hello?
He's an all-out winger. So yeah, I think as long as he gets game time, he could have actually been one of our starlets this season. And you know, maybe, just maybe, we probably did go in for him, but I think he probably chose Chelsea for the money. But I don't think that's really an issue with our financial problems this season. But yeah, I think we could have gone for Cuadrado, maybe Paul Pogba. There's been a lot of talk about Paul Pogba, but nothing really went through with that. But yeah, Cuadrado is one player I would have went for this January transfer.
And hey, we can look forward now to just hearing about transfers that could happen in the summer, not tomorrow. So that's quite exciting. Hayley, are you with us? Are you here? Hayley, are you here? Are you with us? Is that a no?
Can you hear me? No.
Oh, I can hear you now. Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Yes, she's with us. Hayley, how are you doing?
It just suddenly started working.
Well, you're lagging a bit, but I can sort of hear you.
Ah. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I am having a few technical problems. I'm not sure why. Just tell me to stop if...
Yeah, I was going to say, it is quite laggy, I've got to say, Hayley.
Okay.
You know what we might do? We might wait, we might leave it tonight and we'll record a transfer roundup special with Hayley and Tom for the end of the season. But thank you for trying anyway. I mean, she's really tried. She's been in and out the call about 20 times. She's really been trying to get in. So thank you very much to Hayley. But we'll do a special transfer roundup with her and Tom for the end of the window and discussing towards the summer. Unfortunately, some things just don't work out. It nearly ended badly for Steve earlier on, but he's still here with us. Steve, Fletcher to West Brom does look like it's going to be happening. It's going to be the final player to leave this season so far. Does that for you seem to sum up what we've got at the moment and sum up what his form has been right now?
Yeah, like I said weeks ago, I'd like Yeovil be Fletcher's last game, and it's panned out the way I wanted it, to be honest, because he can't do it for United anymore. I'm not going to slag Fletcher off. 12 years in the first side and around it, being at the club for donkey's years, and I think West Brom will be a decent move for him, mate. To be honest, I think Pulis will probably keep them in the Premier League, and he can get some football under his belt and try and get some consistency back and start enjoying football, mate. You know what I mean? Like I say, one of the guys brought it up earlier. I mean, he almost died, you know what I mean? Or not even play professional football again. And he's worked his bag off to get back. It was always a big ask to do it for Man United. And he's going to play Premier League football. I mean, the big one that I'm happy with, that Anderson's gone, to be honest, mate. But, yeah, all the best for Fletcher.
Yeah, we haven't actually spoken much about Anderson. So, quickly, let's ask some of you. George, actually, let's ask all our United panelists. I want you to sum up Anderson's United career in 3 words. They can be 3 different words. They can be 3 that make a sentence. But I just want 3 words from you to sum up Anderson's United career. George, let's start with you, mate.
Terrible, laughable, but yes, for the penalty in Moscow.
Yeah. John, what about you? That's more than 3, but John, what about you?
I'm taking that.
John, what about you, mate?
Oh, sorry about that. 3 words probably. Promising, disappointed, McDonald's maybe. 3 words.
What about you, Steve?
Huge effing mistake.
We heard that. Sean, what about you? 3 words.
Champion, Gerrard, nil.
Pete?
Stayed too long.
Yeah, to be fair. And that's quite moderate. And what about you, Sati?
Biggest mistake ever.
Yeah, it was a tough one, wasn't it, for the amount of money he was, and now he's gone for 3.5 million. Give Woodward a statue. Liam, is that great business from United? That we might have bought him for a lot of money, but to get 3.5 million for Anderson, if it does happen.
Well, I think you take anything from him, to be honest. I mean, I'm a neutral of this, and I can't actually pinpoint out anything that Anderson's done, except from the penalty at Moscow. You know, he was one of those where potentially could have been amazing, but then, you know, I mean, they let Pogba go, which was probably the bad idea, and they seem to have kept Anderson. Should have probably been the other way around, but no, it's what it is. I think 3.5 million. I think you just take it on the chin now. I think still there's a hard deal. That's a lot of money lost. So yeah, in ways, profit-wise, it's gone down for Man U probably this January transfer window, but yeah, I think you'll take anything for Anderson because he has been very poor, and I think he looks a bit tubby in a few pictures I've been seeing on Twitter as well. So obviously the fitness levels haven't been too good either.
Yeah, no one could help him. No one. Ben, let's come over to you. Anything else we need to know? Anything confirmed?
No, absolutely not. It's looking very quiet. Adebayor, I know I mentioned QPR, but that looks absolutely dead as well. I think, you know, as everyone's been saying, it's been a terrible deadline day. Obviously, the one major thing with Chelsea, but no, nothing to report. And I certainly don't think we're going to be waking up in the morning and, you know, Benzema's signed for Liverpool or anything like that. You know, so I think we probably know everything we're going to know. A couple of very small ones might slip through, but I think we're pretty much done.
It does look like Spurs, though, have signed Dele Alli from MK Dons to go back there on loan. 5 million, is that a good deal, Ben?
I mean, it's difficult to say, isn't it? We've been speaking tonight about players like Zaha and things, and you know, when they come off, the managers are a genius, and when they don't, it was an awful deal. You know, hindsight's a wonderful thing in football. And unfortunately, not all the time. You know, Zaha was wonderful. You know, at Crystal Palace, it didn't really come off. Even going back a few years, Francis Jeffers is wonderful at Everton, atrocious for Arsenal. So, you know, sometimes when you see talent, you've got to take a punt. And it's easy 2-3 years down the line to say, oh, well, that was bad business. But, you know, what about when it's not bad business? What about when that player follows you to titles and Champions Leagues, like so many United players have in the past? So in the answer to your question about Spurs, time will tell if it's a good deal. But I think if you see raw talent there, it's always worth taking a punt.
And James Cooper on Sky Sports News, Ben, has said that United will spend very big, and I can promise you they will take centre stage in the transfer window. You echoed that view when we done the transfer special. Do you still believe that?
Well, I absolutely do believe it, and I think I can understand why Manchester United fans are disappointed today or this window, but I actually don't think you have a huge amount to be disappointed about. If you were, you know, 6th or 7th, I think you could have the hump, but you're probably going to get. You're almost definitely going to be playing Champions League football again next season, which was always the aim. And why go out and you know, rush signings in January that are not going to be the quality that you want? I think it's fairly common knowledge that Hummels is going to be leaving Dortmund in the summer. So instead of getting a substandard centre back or you know, a makeshift centre back, you know, finish in the top 4. I think you'll probably either finish 3rd or 4th, and then go and sign 2 or 3 quality players in the summer, and you'll start to have a complete squad again. You know, I think 2 or 3 good additions from United in the summer, and I think you will be challenging for the title next season. So I actually don't think it's been a bad window for you at all. You know, you're only left in in the league, your squad should be able to handle that comfortably.
Hopefully enough it will. Ben, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you for keeping an eye on the transfers for us. Hopefully we'll see you back for the summer one.
Yes, of course, no problem.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. And sorry it was so quiet. We wanted you to be literally doing your nutting that you couldn't keep on top of the transfer, but it's just not worked out that way. Cheers, Ben. Thank you very much. George, you've been here from the start, mate. Disappointed overall, but however, looking forward to the summer now.
Absolutely. You know what? At the start of the January transfer window, I mentioned it at the start, and I was expecting United to do some business. But looking back at it now, and as Ben said, we've got the players to compete. We still have, and I've mentioned in one of my previous videos on my own channel, and I said, the players that we've got now need to start clicking, and it needs to happen fast. And it needs to happen, until the summer transfer window.
And of course, in the summer, we should be very busy. One player you want to see join United?
Kevin Strootman. I'd love that guy to come to United. But obviously, I know he's got another new injury. But we need to see the extent of that one. But I'd say Kevin Strootman, to be honest.
George, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Where can people find you on Twitter?
Twitter is @GE07GE10. Come and check me out on there, and we'll have a little chat.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. John, let's come over to you, mate. Thank you once again for coming on the show this evening. Disappointing window, but overall, we've brought in Victor Valdez. So are you a little bit satisfied by that?
Yeah, definitely, because which big club out there can definitely say we have a number one that's our number two. And in that kind of aspects, we did do good business. And in terms of outgoing players, we also we've given players moves that they deserved in terms of going out there getting some experience. And we're still continuously offloading the players we really don't need anymore. So in that aspect, it was a decent transfer window. We haven't brought anybody big or exciting, but if you look under the bushes, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And looking towards the summer, it's only going to get better, isn't it? So many rumours, so many players we could sign. What's your one player you'd love to see us sign in the summer?
I would definitely go for Hummels. Without question, we really do we need that one center back end. Before Sean was talking about how the three amigos, the Jones, the Smalling, the Evans, their contract is expiring, and I would really not want to keep all three of them. If I wanted to keep one, I'd probably keep Jones, maybe Smalling, and they're squad players at best for me, and we really need to sign that world-class defender at the back to solidify that whole squad, because as people have been saying since the beginning of the season, we're very top-heavy, and not only just in terms of defense, that'll give everybody else in the squad a sense of confidence and a sense of belief and comfort, especially for David De Gea, who's been having one hell of a season, making crazy saves.
Yeah, that is completely true. John, where can people find you on Twitter, mate?
You guys can find me at John Shin Talks, and I also do run a YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Ben and United View, for having me on today.
No problem, mate. Thank you for spending deadline day with us. Thank you very much. Liam, you've been on YouTube. We spoke to you about many deals. Unfortunately, quite a few have collapsed today. However, for you, what club has done the best deals today? Maybe Derby.
Yeah. I think Championship-wise, I think Sheffield Wednesday, they've done pretty good. But in the Premier League, I think has West Brom made the most signings? I haven't actually checked that out.
Some Olsen and Fletcher could be going over the line shortly.
Yeah. So in West Brom's case, they're probably pretty decent signings for them. I don't think they'll go down. So those signings, inexperienced Premier League players, they'll probably stay up. So yeah, like I say, it's everything I expected really from the January transfer window, and everything that Sean said about the fair play rules of spending wise. A lot of people are tweeting, as it ruined transfer deadline days. Is it starting to ruin like the fun of the January transfer window and the summer one as well? So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, it's been good to be on here, and thanks for having me on.
No problem, mate. Where can people find? Oh, no, actually, before that, one player you'd like to see United sign in the summer?
Well, we've had Hummels already. I'd probably like to see him, but I'd probably say Pogba. I think he's just a strong player. Try and get him back if possible. He'd be a great addition to Manchester United. So yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Liam P. L. Edwards.
Thank you very much for coming on, mate. Thank you for spending the deadline day with us.
Cheers.
Pete, you've been there all night. Thank you very much, mate. It's great to have you on in your wisdom. Overall, it has been a pretty standard United transfer window, hasn't it, this January?
Yeah, well, it has, yes. I didn't expect much, so I'm not disappointed, really. I think the big business will be done in the summer, not in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality. And that big centre-back, I don't know who it is, but a young Steve Bruce, a young Jaap Stam, a young Vidic is probably what we need. So whoever that is, I think we'll move for in the summer. But you know, I'm still excited by the here and now. I mean, I still think United are on the tail of Chelsea and City. I think those two are going to get bogged down a bit in League Cup final and Champions League. And if we can just get our act together, you know, there's not much of a gap. So I'm not too bad about the transfers. I think we've got the guys there who can give us, you know, a bloody good end to the season.
Well, hopefully they can do. For you, Pete, who would you have? One player in the summer.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of foreign football, so when I heard all these names thrown about, I'm not sure, you know. But they talk about Strootman as being very good. There's the injury situation. I don't know. I'll have to. I'm going to defer it to. I've got faith in Louis van Gaal. He'll pick the right guy at the back. Someone that can play with Daley Blind and Rocco. Because I agree with your panel. I don't think the guys Smalling, Evans, and Jones. I think they're being given the chance, but in terms of form and injury, they're just not taking it. And I think he will change. He will move to a new back four or back five or centre backs in the summer. So I'll leave it to him. I've got faith in him.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Pete, where can people find you on Twitter, mate?
Just at Pete Molyneux, all one word.
Ta-ra, mate.
Yeah. Ta-ra, guys. It's a pleasure being on. Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. And Saturday, the United man, what's your one player who you'd love to see us sign in the summer?
There's quite a lot, but the one I'd go with is Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. Quality centre back. He's young. He looks like the piece, and I think he'll be the real star at United.
And where can people find more of your opinions and your Twitter?
My Twitter is @theunitedman_MU, and I also have a YouTube channel called The United Man. Cheers for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for coming on, mate. Sorry we haven't come over to you as much as we would on a normal show. It's been so hectic. So many people on the panel. Thank you for coming on, though. Steve, what about you? One player you'd love to see at United in the summer? Oh, is Steve gone? I think Steve might have gone. Steve, thank you for coming on the show. We'll put your Twitter up online. Sean, we'll come straight over to you, mate.
Me heart says...
Oh, you there? Sorry, you're quite... It's like you're on a delay, mate. Oh, no. I think he's gone again. You can hear from Steve online. We'll give you his Twitter later on. You can hear from Steve later on. Sean, let's come over to you, mate. Disappointing window. Not as good as the summer, was it?
No, but then, as I said earlier on, I really didn't expect us to sign anybody. Historically, we don't. I would have liked to have seen a defender come in, but you know, it hasn't been. So, you know, let's look forward to the summer. Let's look forward to doing this on September the 2nd or 3rd or something like that. One player to come in, Varane or Hummels for me.
And where can people find you on Twitter, mate?
At Sean, that's ShaunMUFC20.
Thank you very much to Sean. Thank you very much to Ben. Thank you very much to the rest of our panelists. It's been such a fun show. Even though there wasn't as much this transfer window, next season is going to be the one. It will make or break the Louis van Gaal era in my books, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Once again, thank you to the panelists. Thank you to you for watching. Make sure you keep subscribing. We'll have more information on how you can win the De Gea signed picture next week. 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. From us on the Deadline Day special, it's Come On United. Let's get that win tomorrow. And it's goodbye. Thank you for watching. See you later.
Cheers.